Special thanks to all our patrons who support the show every single week. We couldn't do it without you. Head over to patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast and subscribe today for bonus content, exclusive happy hour live chats, and more. Patrons, you help keep the Run, Eat, Drink podcast going, and we're so grateful for you. Not a patron yet? Join us today at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Help support the show by using our Amazon affiliate link anytime you shop on Amazon for running gear, food, beverages, or anything else the little gray trucks might bring your way. Just use runeatdrink.net/Amazon anytime you shop. It costs nothing extra. It's only one extra click, and it helps us keep the lights on and the bandwidth flowing. Just go to runeatdrink.net/Amazon, and we thank you for your support.
Hi, I'm Tania. Proud to be part of the Runcation Nation. You are listening to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Dana, it's time for another Runcation recap.
I'm so excited. This has been the coolest series for us to do.
I love it.
And get an opportunity to live vicariously through others and to experience some races we haven't had an opportunity to do yet.
I know. Our bucket list keeps getting longer and longer.
It's growing.
And today it's going to get even longer because we are joined by Runcation Nation member Tania, and she is going to recap a fantastic race that I'm sure will make our list go longer. Thank you so much for coming on the Run, Eat, Drink podcast.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
We are so happy to have you. I am going to tell you that Dana would like the live studio audience to just give you
a round of applause.
Can you hear the applause? Did you hear the applause?
Can I get that at work?
Absolutely.
Ooh.
We'll get you one of those easy buttons that you can program with a sound.
Yes.
That'd be great.
I think yes, definitely. So for those in the Runcation Nation who are meeting you for the first time, please do, just before we get into your Runcation recap, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you're drinking, like we like to say on our live streams.
So my name is Tania. I am originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I currently live in Jacksonville, Florida. I work at my medical examiner's office here in Duval County. I love it. I'm not going to go into more detail because some people don't want to hear that, and that is totally fine. It's not for everybody.
We'll get you back on for our new true crime podcast.
That's right. It's in development.
But yeah, I've been running pretty much my whole life off and on since middle school. I did track and field, and then every so often I'd go to the gym or go outside or whatever in early 20s. And then I found the love of racing in that community in my 30s, and I haven't looked back. I love it.
Oh, so she was a runner even when I was hating the mile I had to run as a freshman in high school to meet a PE requirement.
I was with you.
Did you hate
running
it?
The mile.
You hated running the mile.
I hated it. I cried when my gym teacher wanted me to run the mile for a track meet. Because I was a sprinter.
So not about the distance running for you. It's about the speed.
No.
But then you developed a love for the distance running in your 30s, like you said. So
I caught the bug.
You caught the bug, yes.
We've got you here this week to recap a race for us.
Yes.
And you know the deal. You're part of the Runcation Nation. We love to accomplish, explore, and indulge. And we want people to know about amazing races and great places to go after they have crossed that finish line. What race weekend is the must-do Runcation destination you want to recap on the show with us this week, and why?
So I tell everybody, especially first-time marathoners, probably because it's my bias and it was my first marathon, but The Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C. is definitely a must do, especially if you've never been there. But even if you have, it's a great tour of D.C. There's lots to do, lots to eat, lots to drink.
I've heard that about DC.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
A couple of
And,
spots.
like, all the museums and stuff are pretty much free. They've got a great metro system.
Ooh.
My husband and I lived there for a little while. And yeah, so I started running that when I lived there. And now we go back pretty much every year.
It's like us. We come to your neck of the woods now that you're in Jacksonville to do Donna every year.
Yeah.
And like you said with Marine Corps, we got the bug also from our first race that we keep going back to Wine and Dine because that was the one that got us.
And let's face it, it's on brand.
That's
the
true.
Wine and Dine half marathon.
That's true. But I want to hear what's on brand about this one.
Now, you are, I think, probably let's call it the 10th or 11th person I've talked about Marine Corps Marathon with. And to a person, everybody's, you got to do this race. You got to do this race. You got to do this race. And I've never had anybody go, yeah, it was all right.
No.
Just, that doesn't happen.
So this is perfect. This is perfect. So
Right.
I think we should start. Okay. So I think the marathon, so the Marine Corps has a collection of races and you're going to focus on the marathon.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a tough registration process for that?
There used to be, but ever since 2020, they have not had to have a lottery. They were lottery for a while. So I worked really hard to get into the runners club, run it 5 times, and then you're in for life no matter what.
Oh,
But
that's
now,
cool.
the past couple of years, it's just a free for all until they fill up.
Is that
But
still
the 50th is up next year, and I have a feeling it may go lottery next year. I don't know.
Is
still
the
the
Runners
case?
Club still a thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
you run the marathon 5 times and you're in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a
I got
nice
it.
little nugget for the Runcation Nation right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like that bonus. I like it.
Yeah, you still have to pay for it, but it is guaranteed entry. So,
Pricey?
if it does get to the point where it's very popular again and they're having to do a lottery,
Mm-hmm.
it's a nice little perk to have.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if that's one that you want to do every year. I think that's a nice bonus.
Yes.
Unlike certain other races that are in Orlando that charge you an exorbitant membership fee to join their club. Hint,
Yeah.
hint.
We didn't join that club.
Nor will we.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
not doing that.
Let me know.
Me either.
I just, yeah.
But that's a different conversation for a different episode.
We just have to
Yeah.
get lucky then. How expensive is it to register? You still have to pay, but how
Yeah. So I want to say it was about $248 last year.
That's not bad.
and that's not bad. And that
So no, not bad.
that's all the on-course support, that's your shirt, your medal,
Mhm.
that's and apparently an amazing experience. Is there I feel like Roxanne talked to us about pace requirements or cutoffs or something of that sort. So when you're registering for this, what do you need to be cognizant of if you're a back of the packer like us?
There is that. So I won't lie, there are pace requirements because it's such a big city. They do have to close down roads and people have to be cleared by a certain amount of time.
Mm.
So they set it at a 14-minute mile pace
Ooh.
for the
okay.
last person to cross. With that said, I've run races where I am not with the super back.
Mhm.
And I'm able to walk in the middle for a couple miles. And those miles are 16, 17-minute miles. And I still finished. It's fine.
In that
There's
race.
wiggle room.
Yeah.
There's wiggle room.
Okay.
But there is a wagon that will pick you up if you are too slow. And of course, that sucks. But
Yeah, we totally understand why.
Yeah,
and
we've been there.
yeah,
We've been there.
it's a logistics problem because the course support is amazing, even for the back of the packers.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. I do wish that the 16-minute milers could still stay on course throughout the whole time because I'm about inclusivity. I think that'd be
Yeah.
awesome. I think everybody's worth celebrating. But yeah, I understand
Absolutely.
why.
Yeah.
Well, and people, if you've never had to do the logistical planning for shutting roads down and how expensive the law enforcement support is for a race, that's an onerous cost for any race. Yeah. I get it. I would say, Runcation Nation, if you've got your eye towards this one, while there may be some wiggle room, train for at least that 14 minute.
Yeah, definitely train for the 14. But like one thing I've noticed is I tend to train by myself, so that's probably part of it. I don't have that group energy. So when I get to race day and all the excitement of race day, all the people cheering, you're surrounded by people in the suffer cave with you, but all the excitement in the air, like I tend to run faster on race day. So there's that too.
There's definitely something about the energy on the course.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
Now, we were talking with our friend of the show, Cheryl, in another episode, and she was talking about one of the sister races. And in the course of discussion, I believe it was an after discussion for patrons, which, by the way, patrons, you will get a little bit of bonus content here. And of course, the video of this interview. Keep an eye on your patron feed on Patreon and on Podbean.
And buy me a coffee.
And buy me a coffee, yes. She showed us some medals that they had done. I want to say it was for their 40th anniversary run, and it had sand from Iwo Jima in it.
Was that, or was it from 2020 and it was a virtual, or?
It was 2020's marathon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was
a cool medal.
Cool.
So...
Yeah. Was very special.
I am absolutely bling driven. I probably was a raccoon in a previous life. What's the bling like generally for this race? That was seemed like it was like, I thought it was a special year. Maybe I was wrong on that one. So it was 2020s, but how's the bling generally?
I can't complain at all. My husband's a Marine.
You're not allowed to complain if your husband's a Marine.
No, he's not active anymore. So he's a vet, but
he's a former Marine.
He loves the AGAs. So I don't know if they have any plans to change it. I hope not, because they've got a good thing going. But they've been EGAs for at least the past 10 years, and they're gorgeous. I can show you some that I've got.
Please.
Oh yes. We would love that. I know Dana would love that especially.
I'm a fan.
And we're taking a field trip with Tanya, and she's going to show us some of her medals.
Oh, she's got a couple. Just a couple.
Yay.
So those are the 5. So this one is the one with the sand in it.
So the EGA, of course, is the eagle, the globe, and the anchor.
Oh.
So there's that.
Look at that.
Those are sharp.
I like that red, and then it looks so dark.
It's nice that they've done variations on this on the similar metal for so many years. That's cool.
Yeah. And last year's was this one.
Look at it.
That is sharp.
Look at it.
Sorry, I have to scroll away, but it opens up.
Oh, no way.
And you get there we go. Can you see the dog tag?
Yeah. It's got a dog tag inside. That is awesome.
But that's not the only one that opens up.
I was going to ask you, are they all ones that actually open?
That red one that you
is
like
so sharp. Opened. Oh my gosh, what is that?
Does it have a challenge coin inside?
The challenge coin, and it comes out. But I only have one hand right now. So.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Also opens up. And it just looks pretty.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. The medals, their medal game is strong.
Super strong.
Yeah. I'm a magpie also, or maybe I was a raccoon.
So
I get the medal of.
So now those are all marathon medals that you just showed off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are all the marathon medals. Mm-hmm. It's 14 minutes.
Yes.
We've talked about the bling motivation. I know I shouldn't talk about this. I know I shouldn't ask. It's always at this point where I am tempted by the bling that I want to ask this question, which is happening later, which it probably fits in later. Is it really hilly?
There are some hills. And it wouldn't be a race by the Marine Corps if you didn't finish on an uphill.
Of course.
Oh, of course.
Because you got to take that hill. Yeah.
So the first
Really?
3 miles are uphill.
I'm sorry, the first 3?
The first 3 miles are uphill, and that's probably the steepest part of the race. And
So you
then
get it
it's
out of the way.
flat from there.
And then it's flat from there?
Fairly flat.
Fairly flat.
Because you still have to go up and then down like Rock Creek Parkway near Georgetown. And then, yeah, you end up on it's a lot worse on race day. If you go by the Iwo Jima Memorial any other day of the year, like this is nothing. But for the last 0.1 of a race, it's everything.
It's everything.
Oh my God.
Placement is key. It's like when they used to do the last or mile 12 at Donna at the top of that bridge.
Oh, for the half,
and then you ran downhill into the Mayo Clinic parking lot. Yeah, the last part's great, but oof.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I had to.
We will be getting back to the race course itself. Yes.
Yes, I would think it's 3 miles. It's the first 3 miles is uphill, and then it's fairly flat.
Fairly flat. So if you look it up online, most people say it's a relatively flat course.
Okay.
But it isn't up. I have a necklace made that has the elevation chart on it.
Oh, cool.
So it's this little hump there, and then it does a little like this, and then it ends just on a slight little uphill.
She sounds like Jeff Galloway talking about the end of his race.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you end at a lower elevation than when you started, but there's a whole lot of this in between.
Yeah, Virginia Highlands, whatever, Atlanta. No. Okay.
It's net downhill.
Right?
Yeah. It's mostly flat.
It's not downhill, unfortunately. But
Okay.
I would agree it is relatively flat, but there are still some areas, nowhere near the first 3 miles, but still some areas where you do have a little bit of hilly.
Okay. Good
But
to
then
know.
you have to go down. There's a big downhill in Georgetown, and I look forward to that every year.
At least there's that.
Yeah.
She's keeping it
If you're
positive.
going uphill, you got to at some point go downhill.
Leaving Georgetown. It's great.
She's going positive. She's going positive. Is there you have a spouse that served?
Yes.
Is there a cause that is normally attached to the Marine Corps Marathon? Is it for different causes, or is it just tied to the military organization?
So it's not obviously because it's called the Marine Corps Marathon, but the Marine Corps Marathon it's not their race, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So they do provide support as far as
Charity running?
yes, but you also see Marines all along the course,
Mm-hmm.
and they're providing support and cheering.
Cheering, air quotes,
Wait
knife hands, and yelling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that what they do?
Find pond water, run faster. No, it's not that bad. Really,
Okay.
They're awesome, but they're all along the course. All around the country, Marines come and are voluntold to volunteer there in the morning, from security to course to water to even the newly promoted lieutenants who give you your medal.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
very special at the end.
I didn't know they were newly promoted.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's special. They're like baby-faced butter bars.
Mhm. That's cool.
But yeah, they salute you and then they give you your medal.
How cool is that?
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, it's lined with lots of brass, especially at the finish. They're all cheering you on up that hill.
So naturally that
It
Is it-
provides the necessary motivation.
yeah.
But to get back to your original question, as far as like charities and whatnot, there's a lot that are associated, like the Semper Fi funds, Run Blue, and then Team RWB. Those are really big ones. And they all have a presence there. I'm pretty sure you can get bibs through all three of them. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they all offer that.
I know we've
Fantastic.
run Anchorage Run Fest with Team RWB.
We've seen them
Yeah.
at multiple race weekends. So that is.
Yeah, they're great. And I ran with them, not like officially, but I wore their shirt for the first couple at least.
Mm-hmm. And
yeah, they're great.
Naturally, I would think that it just, the whole course and atmosphere and everything, all the runners and the military presence, the Marine Corps presence just motivates you all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you'd alluded to it, though. It's not just Marines on the course. You get a lot of community and crowd support also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you're going through the neighborhoods, shop owners, even homeowners, they'll come out and cheer you on in some areas. The mall is still open. And if you know what I mean, the mall of where all the, like your Capitol building, Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, all of that is open during the course. You get random tourists cheering you on too.
That's cool.
Fun.
Yeah. Crowd support, right? What I want to say is you're in Jacksonville. You've run Donna.
Yes.
Compare the two in terms of crowd support.
Donna is a party the whole way. And of course, I've only done the half, so I can't speak for the full, but considering you do it twice, I'm guessing it's just an extended part.
That's like what we've heard.
That is what we've heard. So
I don't know. It's different. It's great, but it's different.
It's motivational, but also probably emotional.
It is very emotional, especially like mile 13 is the Blue Mile. And
We've heard
Blue
of this. Yeah.
Does their Blue Mile. So I challenge everyone not to at least well up during that mile. That's hard.
And for those that don't know about the Blue Mile, can you tell them what you would encounter?
Yeah, so Wear Blue is a great organization. They work for the fallen and for the families. I'm pretty sure that's their slogan, for the fighting fallen and families. They are support for those who have family, friends, loved ones who are serving currently, who have passed, and they want to keep those memories alive. They have groups throughout the country, and they meet up every weekend in Circle of Remembrance, where each name is read aloud, and each person they'll take a name and they'll run their miles in honor of that serviceman or woman. So it keeps their memory alive. Their heart's beating through your heart, your miles. But the Wear Blue Mile is also special because they take a full mile of this course. And they do it at a lot of the rock and roll races too, I think. I don't know. I've seen it at least one.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, they take a mile and they have a bunch of posters. Like they're like yard sign kind of side. Not huge, but big enough to where you can see. But they'll line both sides of the course with pictures of these fallen service members with their date, their names. You can choose to run in memory of somebody that might be on the course. That happened to me last year and I had no idea. So that was very emotional.
Wow.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gives purpose to your miles, and especially with a course that has an area in Haines Point where that is located that just doesn't have the crowd support that you have elsewhere. That mental battle is really starting around mile 13, 14, 15. And that just gives you something else to run for. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for this person who can't be here today. Do it for their family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, you just mentioned like kind of where the mental battle begins. So that's a great way for us to segue into preparation for the race. And you've clearly done this race once or twice based on your medal wall.
Just a couple times.
What training plan do you gravitate towards? And can you talk about what do you do in terms of training for heat and hills, and give us a little insight onto your process?
I'm no expert by any means. I'm not a run coach. So for a long time, and what's worked really well for me in the past, especially not necessarily to be super fast or have a PR time goal or anything, but to finish well with a smile on my face, I modify a Hal Higdon plan. And I've really gone with novice one of the novice plans or a low intermediate plan, or I'll mesh the two, whatever works for me. And I just try to get my miles in. I might miss one or two of the weekly miles, but really sticking to the weekends, not missing the long run.
Yeah.
Walk breaks as necessary. So I don't follow a strict Galloway plan, but I really like his method. I really do feel like it saves my legs. So that's my plan. It's not set in stone. It has to be a little more fluid. But being in Florida, that really helps with the heat and humidity, because people will be complaining up in DC. And I'm like, this is glorious. Like it's only 60% humidity today. Not a big deal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're like, where's my lotion? I'm feeling a little lizard skinny today. No, we had the same thing. We were up in Anchorage and they were putting a black flag warning on the race course at the Anchorage Run Fest because the high was going to be 75 degrees, and they were serious. Don't go for a PR. Take it easy. And we're like, this is glorious. What are you talking about?
Great.
Yeah. And
So good.
I'm somewhat acclimated to Florida, but I don't know that I ever will completely be, because I am a desert girl through and through. So this humidity kills me every year.
So you are officially saying that it's a wet heat, not a dry heat?
Yeah.
See, there's a thing.
It is a thing.
The air is thick, and I didn't understand what that meant until I lived here.
Yeah.
Oh, it really is.
It's brutally miserable here in the summertime.
DC's a special kind of place because it's really hit or miss. That race can be truly hot and humid.
Okay, we were going to ask about this. So
it can be hot and humid with the sun blazing, and like last year, they made the right call because apparently there were a few people that had medical emergencies. I didn't think the weather was too bad, but they ended up cutting the course short, diverted. They still allowed you to collect your medal and whatnot and all of that. And I was grateful because I truly was back of the pack that day and suffering. I finished the course they gave me.
That's it.
Exactly.
And that's the way you got to look at it for when that happens.
And we've had it happen, and we know that. And we're just, you finish the race they give you, or you finish the race that's in you that day.
Exactly.
So that's how I feel about it.
Now, I was going to say, when you're training for this race, do you incorporate any hill work or specific heat training? Like
she's got
like going out in the hotter part of the day specifically, or no?
I don't do well in the heat. So I'm prefacing that with that. Or this with that.
I understand.
Preach.
Yeah.
So in Florida, as you have to get up before the crack of dawn, especially for those long, slow miles. And even then the sun is blazing and it's 10 o'clock in the morning and you've still got 3, 4, 5 miles to go. The struggle's real, but with it already being so hot and humid that early in the heat of summer, when you're training for this, I don't mess around. I don't get out in the middle of the day. I save that for race day.
Okay.
Yeah. So
hills.
Yeah.
I'm not great at doing that.
You either, huh?
What hills?
I didn't know if you threw in some afternoons on the Dreadmill maybe, or you found a local parking deck, or you ran one of those beautiful bridges you have up there in Jacksonville.
No. I do have a treadmill. I did buy one.
Oh, there you go.
It's great for hill training. I did incorporate that this last year when I did Marine Corps back to back with New York the next week.
Ooh.
And I feel like it made a huge difference, and did some like strength training and things.
Oh, good.
But yeah, no, I'm a bad example. I tell people, don't train like me.
There's something to be said.
It works for me. You really have to individualize your training.
You do,
because it depends on you. Everybody is made differently. Everybody's in a different climate. Everybody's body handles nutrition differently.
Absolutely.
Everybody handles different courses, different weather. It's all, you do have to customize your training. It's true. Yeah. It's true.
And enjoy it, because if you're enjoying it, you're not going to do it. And then race day is going to come whether you're ready or not. And if you're not, you're really going to feel it.
You are.
And then for this race, do you carry your own nutrition and hydration with you, or how's the on-course support? Do you supplement on-course with your own? And if so, what?
Yes. So there's another guy that I follow that runs a lot of the Disney races, and I forget his handle right now, but he was on another podcast talking about how he was instructing another runner in the heat and humidity, someone who wasn't used to it. He's like, just small sips frequently. I do that. I find that really helps. I'm used to taking hydration very regularly, small sips regularly. Mm-hmm. I don't go 2 miles between sips. With that, if that's how you're training and that works great for you, keep at it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't work well for me. So the Marine Corps hydration stops are about every 2 miles or so.
Okay.
That doesn't work for me. I will generally take water every time, but I carry Tailwind usually in my pack, and I take a 2-liter pack every time.
Good to know.
That way I have enough. I generally finish with some still in there, but I'd rather have too much than
not enough. Exactly.
Makes total sense.
Exactly. What flavor of Tailwind do you take with you?
I like mixing them.
Very good. Okay.
I really like mixing. I don't think they make it anymore, but when they did, the green tea and the berry were really good together.
The green tea and the berry. I just like to get all the inside information.
Yeah, we've got some Tailwind. We're going to be evaluating and doing a little bit of a test and a T&E for the Runcation Nation.
Yeah.
So.
I like it. They do say, and I've been taking it since 2018, so a while now, and it worked well for me. I will say for longer races and such, I still tend to supplement with some snacks. They say that's all you need all day, really. But for longer races, I need a little more.
Yeah.
And to cut it with water. I do generally, because I'm taking water at water stops. My hydration pack is a little more concentrated.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not going to be sipping on that. And that I would get way too thirsty. So it's all that salt.
Sure.
Okay.
But I love it. I really do. And their recovery stuff is really good too afterwards.
Yeah, the recovery stuff has protein in it. That's a nice bonus right there.
Good and I keep a little hydro flask. I'll bring a hydro flask with, especially for if I have a local half or something, I'll keep a hydro flask with very cold, like coconut milk. Have a toasted coconut and almond milk that I like. I'll put that in, and then I'll have my shaker bottle ready with the powder. So after I'm done, I just pour in that milk, and it's so good. It's like a smoothie. Or a milkshake.
Nice tip.
Not as thick, but it's good.
Yeah.
We're getting inside information.
And coconut water, if you don't like it, generally, I know Vita Coco's got one flavor that's got a little more of the coconut pulp in it, which has a little more coconut flavor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
good to know.
It is a really good natural hydration option.
Yeah.
It is, definitely.
So I imagine no costume at this particular race for the marathon.
Surprise.
What?
Surprise. I have not run in costume for Marine Corps, but there are people that do. And because it's the last Sunday in October, sometimes it's on Halloween.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that, because I was about to make a joke and go, the Marines call it a uniform, not a costume.
Right.
Just saying.
I see. Yeah, okay. So
I want to say 2020 was supposed to be on Halloween, and of course that the in-person got canceled, so that was dashed. But next time.
Yes, next time. Do you have a favorite go-to gear that you run in when you don't run in costume?
As far as like brands or...
Yeah, because I'll do the Belega socks, and there's a certain Boulder leggings. Those, but
R.I.P. Boulder athletic wear.
Well,
so sad.
They're still in there, and I feel like they're just trying to keep going. I want them to keep going. So
she's gonna run till those things just disintegrate.
I ordered so many. I'm not gonna.
You and I both. I've got a whole like 2 drawers full.
I know it. I'm telling you, I know, and the pockets and everything. It's so functional. So clearly, you like Boulder. Like I do.
I've worn them for Marine Corps also because I had one of their like Liberty skirts.
Oh, yeah.
The like flutter cut. And it was adorable. So I wore that for like my first 2. But yeah, I'm a brand ambassador for Rabbit. And I love it. I love their gear. So I've been wearing that.
Nice.
We'll link to that in the show notes. Not a sponsor of the show.
No.
But we will.
Could be.
Just saying.
I wish you would, as a rad rabbit.
We have a rad rabbit. I like it.
So we've talked a little bit about it, alluded to it. The course takes you through some amazingly historic areas in the Metro DC area, or in DC proper. For those that are going to be traveling there for a runcation, what is your recommendation? Should they do rent a car, ride share, public transit? What do you think? If someone's going to be staying in that area, is it all close enough to not have to get your own car?
It does depend on what you want to do. So having been someone who did live there for a few years and frequently visits,
this is important.
What my husband and I do, typically we do drive up still, but we make the most out of the Metro. We pretty much exclusively use the Metro system because it's so good. So really we just have to either Uber or find our way to a near Metro station and we're good for the day. If you want to see some of the museums off the beaten path a little bit, like venture out to Quantico and see the Marine Corps Museum or the Air and Space Museum in Chantilly, things like that, you'll probably want to rent a car or Uber. But traffic is horrendous in the Metro DC area, so I don't easily recommend people go that route.
It's horrendous on a good day.
Yeah.
So just so we're clear, and now you're adding Marine Corps Marathon on top of that.
Yeah.
Plus whatever else might be going on that given weekend. You never know. We showed up to DC the last time and Rolling Thunder was there.
My mom lived in Crystal City for a little while and she hated every year. She's these bikes, they're so loud.
And there's a lot of them.
But no, it's true. There's always something coming and going on. So plan accordingly. But we love making use of the Metro system. You pretty much can get anywhere. It's a very walkable city.
Now, what about lodging and where you recommend staying? I don't know if you stay with family while you're up there or because you make a drive of it and then use the Metro, but where do you recommend staying?
If you can make some nice running friends, they're great to stay with. So that's generally what we do.
That does help.
I'm part of some Marine Corps groups on Facebook and social media, and I see a lot of people stay in Crystal City, Roslyn. I would like to add Ballston is not a bad idea, especially if you're going to be taking the Metro. It may not. They're trying to revitalize it, if you will, and they're putting up more apartments and things. It's a very nice area now. And they've got hotels to choose from and stuff, but it's very close to the Metro. And that's usually the Metro stop I choose when I take it on race day.
Okay.
But yeah, Crystal City will have Metro stops. Roslyn, you can, depending on where you are, that's near the finish line. So you can walk right over. Very easy.
Okay. I was going to ask. So let's talk race morning. You're there. Are you taking the Metro to the start line? Is that a doable approach? What do you recommend there?
You can take the Metro. They open up. Oh, now I should have looked at that. But race morning, I want to say they open up at 6 sharp. So it is earlier than they normally do.
Oh, okay.
And it works out just fine. I would say get there, be there at 6, 6:10, 15 maybe. But then you want to get off. They have a couple stops. You can get off at Roslyn and walk, but they've been recommending recently that people get off at Pentagon because that's closest. And you will walk. You walk to the runner's village and stuff at the start, and that's in the Pentagon parking lot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go.
That's cool.
There you go.
On
Yeah.
first morning.
How is the pre-race experience? And are there organized? I imagine there are going to be organized corrals and
It's the Marines. They're gonna have-
announcers getting you, possibly making you do burpees, or I don't know.
Really not.
No. Okay.
No, the energy is palpable as soon as you get to the Disney or New York, any other race that people have done. Race morning's just special.
Mhm.
You can feel it. But there's not a whole lot going on in the runner's village area. There's some people braiding each other's hair, getting your bib situated, eating your breakfast, taking your poo, whatever people need to do to start. But then you make your way up to the starting corrals, labeled with your starting corral based on your expected finish time and pace that you use to register with. But it is an honor system, so take that how you will. But you line up in your appropriate corral. It's not like Disney where people are like, no, your bib says E, you can't be here in C or anything like that. But I recommend people stick with what you registered for, or at least trained for. And that way you don't get run over.
Sure. But if you had a friend maybe and the two of you were separated by corrals, you could theoretically go get with them and run together and no one's going to say anything.
No.
That's good.
And really, the biggest thing, just be cognizant and polite. Use your etiquette. Raise your hand when you're going to take a walking break. Make your way to the side. Things that the Galloway groups are very cognizant about.
And you should do at any race.
I agree. Any race. Local 5K.
Doesn't matter.
Or your Boston Marathon.
Exactly. Exactly. And on the course, are there pace groups?
Yes.
Yes.
And I think they're marathon maniacs.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Good to know.
But pre-race, if the weather is good, which is most mornings that they have this, I think I've only not seen it once, but they do an Osprey flyover.
Oh, cool. The V-22 Osprey is the vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, personnel carrier aircraft.
They'll have people parachuting with the flag out of it. That's special.
That's cool.
Oh. So that's cool.
I grew up next to MacDill Air Force Base. We didn't have Ospreys. We had F-16s, but it was the air show every year. In fact, it just happened in Tampa last weekend, and it draws over 100,000 people each weekend to the base. It's pretty wild.
Wow. So that is what's good about the pre-race and the start. Or are there more bells and whistles that we missed at the start?
I mean, you get an air show. What more
You get
do
an
you
air
want?
show. I'm
really
checking.
cool. And you can hear them before you can see them. So that's even cooler.
And
you start by Arlington Cemetery, which is close to where you're going to finish. And then they always have somebody singing. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
It's cool.
Now, you mentioned water stops about every 2 miles. Do they also have nutrition stops, first aid stops in addition to that? Or
They do. And I want to say it trying to think if it's staggered or around I want to say they're close to the water stops. And then it's tended to change every year. They'll have a sponsored hydration or nutrition. Like last year, I want to say they're doing it this year too. It was Untapped. And I like their nutrition also, because who doesn't want to just drink straight maple syrup? It's so good. And they have a coffee flavor.
you're the second person to mention this to us.
I love Untapped. I love it.
I feel like
For New York.
We may have to see if we can get them to send us a sample to try.
Gosh, I hope so.
They're so good.
Oh, good to know. We're learning all sorts of great stuff now. We've talked about the course, the kind of spaced out water nutrition, that kind of thing. The finish line experience. How's that?
Tears. No, it's great. It really is. You get into so towards the end, mile 21, 22, you're in Crystal City. And then for a few miles, it's kind of concrete jungle desert. if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So very little course support after Crystal City, which sucks because it's towards the end. You're really needing it at that point. But
Yeah.
and you start to see Arlington Cemetery coming up and you're almost done.
So visually, it's inspiring.
Everybody cheering. And then you'll see the flags that you saw when you started. The street will be aligned with that. And then the cheering, the bells, all of the Marines yelling, cheering you on. It gets louder and louder. You go up that hill, turn a corner, and there's nothing like it. Like, I conquered the hill at the end.
That's gotta make you feel like a badass.
And then you get your medal and saluted by a newly minted lieutenant.
Yeah.
Yay. And then is there a post-race party?
There is. I'll be honest and say that I haven't really attended it because I'm usually exhausted and hungry and wanting to shower and sleep and eat at the same time.
We understand that.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
For sure.
But I know there is like post-race event stuff going on in Roslyn.
Okay.
Have the free beer. That varies every year. Last year I want to say it was Stone Brewing that was there.
Ooh,
the year
nice.
before that, Athletic made an appearance.
Hey.
For that, it was Michelob Ultra. It's my favorite.
It's sometimes it's not the one you want, it's the one you need, or
Absolutely.
whatever they say.
Absolutely. And besides, I'll tell you, after 13 miles of hot running, that Mick Ultra will go down like a fat kid on a seesaw.
Uh-huh.
And then you don't realize that every single one of those you're drinking is 4.7% ABV. And then all of a sudden you're like, ooh, I need food. Or so I've read on the internet.
Yeah, we really wouldn't know.
No. Now, given your limited experience with this race.
Oh, yeah. So limited.
You know, just you've read about it on the internet. In your opinion, the challenge of this race, is it physical or mental?
Yes.
That is an acceptable answer.
Yes.
A marathon you cannot take for granted.
It killed the first guy that ran
This
it.
coming from somebody who has really flubbed training in the past before and got sidelined with an injury and just muddled their way through a marathon.
Don't know what that's like.
Yeah. I think if you do at least a few, you know what that's like. But yeah, there's obviously going to be the physical challenge, but this one gets you right in the feels with the service members, and their families are cheering them on too. And you're surrounded by active duty folks who got their leave and they're able to run. They've been training on base for this.
That's something that we haven't talked about. So the Marine Corps will give leave to come run this.
I can't speak for them. I'm not sure.
No, but I mean, there are soldiers. I've heard this exact thing. So yes, like I've heard, not they won't let them all go. They got wars to fight and stuff. But there are some that they'll get trained up and then they'll actually get approved to leave to come back. And it's super cool.
Yeah.
And then you get the people that you strike up conversation with that are wearing grandpa on their back or their brother's picture on their back or sister or mom, dad. Tell me about so-and-so. So you spend a mile talking about them. It gets you in the feels. So there's that. And then there's definitely the pain cave that hits. And for me, that's always Haynes Point, mile 15-ish.
Ooh.
Where I'm like, why am I doing this? Why do I do this to myself? I am hurting. I want to stop. But then I'm like, no, I've made it 15 miles. I'm like over halfway there. I'm not stopping now.
Exactly.
So it's definitely all of the above. It's mental, it's physical, it's emotional.
Yeah. But it sounds like it's worth it.
It's so worth it.
See, look.
See? Yeah,
bling.
again.
The bling.
And
It's the bling.
she's not going, it's okay.
And you get a patch, Dana. You get a patch too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very cool. See, this is my kind of bling right here. I'm
Right?
telling you.
Yes, exactly. But she made an excellent point that when you cross the finish line, maybe you're not going to stick around for the post race, whatever, because you want to shower.
We're guilty of
and
that.
You want food and beverage.
Yeah, we are guilty of that. We'll get our own food and beverage later.
Yes.
So
I've been guilty of having my husband bring me a Bloody Mary to the gate.
Oh,
And nothing hits like a Bloody Mary after you've been sweating in the heat for a couple hours.
oh yeah,
It's
the salt.
wonderful.
Yeah,
And it's salty. It's good for you. Tomatoes.
it's vegetable.
right?
Well, technically, it's a fruit.
Whatever. I'm not going to argue with you.
Spilled potato.
Vodka.
Exactly.
Yeah. Made from potatoes.
I was going to say,
What do you want from us?
potatoes are very versatile. It's like other vegetables aren't even trying.
That's right.
They're not.
Come on. Step up your game.
Mm-hmm.
Be part of the Bloody Mary celery stock.
Cauliflower's trying, but I don't know.
I haven't seen any cauliflower spirits yet.
No, I'm
Oh.
not sure I want to try that.
No, we have had sweet potato vodka though.
We have.
Yeah,
When did we have?
two titmice.
Ooh.
That's for they're a Donna sponsor,
Yeah.
and yeah, sweet potato vodka.
Good.
Yeah, so we've done the same thing. We've said, okay, there's a post race party. We're gonna see it real quick, but we're not sticking around.
Yeah.
And you go get cleaned up. Where are you going for a celebratory meal after this race?
And where should we go?
where should we go?
My tradition is Lost Dog pizza.
Oh, it's pizza.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
And I always think I'm going to finish this whole thing. And I eat 2 slices and I'm done because your stomach is a little wonky afterwards.
Yeah.
The next day I finished the entire thing. But day of, yeah, I get Lost Dog pizza every year.
Lost Dog. We are going to have
Yes.
links to everything that Tanya mentions in the show notes. So-
Yeah, and they're cool. They support like shelter dogs and stuff.
Oh,
Oh.
You're doing good.
oh, I love that.
We proudly support Lost Dog and Cat Rescue Foundation.
Yeah, see?
Oh.
They're a cool place, and their pizza is really good.
Which one should we get?
What is the name of it?
Wait, I can pull up the menu.
I want to say
I
it's
can
the
help.
Cujo. I think I get the Cujo every time.
The
It's like
Cujo.
pesto
I'm
marinara
sorry.
with chicken.
Ooh, the Cujo?
Yeah, is that it?
Let's see.
It's pesto marinara, chicken,
Oh,
mozzarella.
that sounds amazing.
It's so.
I'm a sucker for pesto. Period.
I love it.
We should. I'm on the.
It's a red
appetizers.
pizza
I'm so
with
sorry.
pesto also, which that's different
Yeah.
because usually it's
Right?
white pizza with pesto that you see.
Okay.
All right.
Yes. So
Did I
we
get
should
that right?
get it. Yes.
So what kind of pizzeria would you describe this as? This isn't like a white tablecloth cut eat your pizza.
No,
They got
not at
pizzas
all.
called Cujo. So it's probably not a knife and fork white tablecloth.
No, I think they do have knives and forks if you need it, but no, I go in like my sweatshirt and comfy pants and my UFOs
And your
with my
medal?
belt on.
And your medal?
Oh yeah, I wear my medal
Okay.
for the next day.
Good.
Yes.
I'm a believer in that. You go to a town, they're hosting a big race weekend. Wear your medal.
You have to. And
I-
leaving New York was funny. I say that because typically we're driving to DC, so I don't get like the airport experience. But
Mhm.
leaving New York, coming home, you could pick out all the marathoners because they're all wearing the hat, the jacket, the medal, the shirt.
They've got the standard issue uniform on,
From
Exactly.
the standard issue uniform.
and you can hear them clanging. It's like walking around Disney on a race weekend. You hear the clang.
And I imagine that's what you pick up at the expo. That's the gear. I imagine that they tempt you.
Pre-order it. Lots of places are doing pre-orders now.
Yeah, it just
That's
makes
the
it
way to
easier.
go.
Just makes
That's
it
what
easier.
I did for New York,
And-
and I carried it with me to wear there. And I'm glad I did because there was like a finisher beanie I really wanted.
Ooh,
Oh, cool.
Bought that, and then I put it on after the race because it was freezing. And this lady on the subway was like, "Where'd you get that?" I was like, "Oh, I bought it like 2 months ago."
Yeah, I wish Disney would go to that pre-order
Like
online
everything,
things.
yeah.
Because if more races did that, they'd have fewer angry podcasters talking about what a bad experience they had at their
Right?
merch stand.
The cute.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter
Cute.
though.
This needs to revamp a lot, I feel like.
We're going to have you back on for that discussion, I think.
Yeah. Well,
Like a Disney race, and I tell people that. I'm like, if you really want to, it can't be matched. It's its own thing.
Hmm.
yeah.
They're not perfect.
No,
and
and
no
nobody
races.
is.
No races.
No.
Exactly.
No, for Lost Dog Pizza, reservations or no? Is
Nope.
this kind of a, okay, so this is a casual spot. I love that.
Yeah, it's a casual spot. They do have beer on tap and in coolers. My husband's been able to find left-hand beer there. So sometimes you get surprised.
Your husband's a man after my own heart.
Left hand,
Yeah.
milk stout.
Yep.
Love it. Just saying.
He likes the Polestar.
Oh.
Also good.
He's been able to find that. When we lived in Arlington, that Lost Dog had it sometimes.
That's a perfect segue into my next question.
I am so sorry.
So-
I'm looking at pictures
She's
of the
looking
pizza.
at the pizza.
Oh,
And he
gosh.
lost me, and I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to ask him about the beverage."
Let's talk about the beverage.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a celebratory beverage in particular after this race? If so, where are you going, and then where should we go?
She talked about the Bloody Mary, but let's hear more.
Her husband's not going to bring us a Bloody Mary at the end of the race.
Oh, that's true. Carry on.
You know what I do for the Bloody Marys, though? Is so we were privy to this mix when we went to a wedding for one of our friends at Margaritaville. The bartender made our Bloody Marys with the Charleston mix
Mhm.
and used half of the garden and half of the spicy. And that was delicious.
Hmm.
So that's what we do. We get a bottle of each. We mix it both together. We put all the vodka that we want in there. So we've got a big thing, and then we just pour what we want.
Oh, no, all the vodka we want is what she
So-
said.
Usually after the race, if we go to Lost Dog or something, I might get a cider, something local, but it just depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes it's a sweet tea kind of night, and that's okay too.
That's okay too. Absolutely.
It just all depends also on how your tummy is.
And that's
Yeah.
a big one. And that can vary from race to race.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or if you make it a true runcation and you have the celebratory,
day.
the recovery day, then afterwards you may want to visit breweries, etc.
Yeah. One cidery I really like because it's for, we usually spend most of our time in Virginia, stay with our friends in Virginia.
Mhm.
Ooh,
And there's a lot of apples in Virginia. So there's a great little cidery called Lost Boy.
You are the second person to mention this to
Yay!
us.
I love a trend.
Yeah.
They're up.
Okay.
Yes.
There's lots of breweries too.
Sure.
Trying to think of the places we like to go. Oh, I didn't prep this very well.
That's
thought
okay.
Oh, that's okay.
for all of this.
That's okay. We understand from Cheryl that Lost Boy Cidery is not based on the movie,
The 80s vampire movie.
80s vampire movie. It's not.
I don't know their backstory.
I don't know their backstory, but I got excited. I was like, oh, is it the movie? No. Okay. That's okay. It's still good cider.
because I think Lost Boy, and I love a Lost Boy, Peter Pan.
Oh, there's that. It
Yeah.
is Peter Pan, too.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I really
And-
don't know. I just know their cider's delicious.
I think that's probably an homage to Peter
Peter
Pan.
Pan.
Yes.
Because I just was on their about page. And-
Ah,
Yeah. So at any rate, we know
Yes.
it's not a movie reference.
And it's also not a fluke that it was mentioned once. We now have some independent confirmation.
We do.
Here.
We didn't solicit.
Not
we
at
didn't.
all.
They didn't compare notes. It was. I love it. I love it. So, where are you accomplishing, exploring, and indulging next, Tanya?
so funny you should ask. So my husband and I are taking a true like runcation. He's never been to the Keys, so we're gonna go down to the Keys, and I'm gonna run the 7-mile bridge run this weekend.
It's so hard to get
Very
into that.
nice.
Oh, it's sold out in 4 minutes. I couldn't believe I
That
got
dang
it.
race and the Skyway 10K are two we have not been able to successfully get into yet.
Yeah. How did you get into it?
I was up very early. I got it in bed on my phone. I just pressed the button as soon as it turned 6 o'clock.
So only
Yeah.
one device.
The universe rewarded her for only using one device.
I guess.
Amy will be on a Disney race day.
gosh.
She'll have 4 devices, 2 browsers in each one, Chrome and Safari and multiple tabs, and yeah, and then her phone. Yeah, And then calling me going, log on, try it.
For Disney, you have to. I feel
it's such a zoo.
Yeah, Disney's so hard, and I was so frustrated trying to get into Dopey a couple years ago, and I was when everybody had that issue. What was it, 2022?
Yes,
or was it 23? No, it was 23.
It was both. They always have an issue.
I don't know. Their webpage looked like it had been eaten by Lilo and Stitch.
It was awful.
But
I was on hold for 2 hours or something, and then of course everything sold out.
Of course,
that whole mess.
Nightmare.
That'll be the day that we get an explicit tag on this show.
You think?
If that ever happens, that will be. Oh yeah.
If whatever happens,
going through all of that, where you're on hold for 2 hours, and then everything gets sold out from under you because you're. Yeah.
Oh, for you, but it's okay. It's all right.
I was very upset. I was very mad, but I ended up doing Goofy with a great charity.
Oh,
so it worked out.
Sometimes you're handed an obstacle and then it becomes something even better.
The obstacle is the way.
Yeah, the obstacle is the way. Yeah. So,
where can the Runcation Nation connect with you if they wanted to follow your antics or just say hi? I'm also a fellow Runcation Nation citizen.
I am mostly on Instagram. And my handle is at @this_Phoenix_runs.
And we will have a link there as well.
Yay.
Tania, thank you for joining us and congratulations on completing this race. And I can't tell you how much we appreciate you being a part of the Runcation Nation. Yeah. You're awesome.
Oh my gosh. What a good time. We can't wait to accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon.
I'm excited for that as well. Thanks for having me on.
That's a wrap. So thank you for joining us on your long run, your commute to work, around the house, wherever you are. I'm your host, Amy.
And I'm your co-host, Dana.
Stay safe and well, and we will accomplish, explore, and indulge with you really soon. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having another great year thanks to your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at Run, Eat, Drink Podcast. And on Twitter, we're Run, Eat, Drink Pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or send us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Find out how you can support the show at patreon.com/runeatdrinkpodcast. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.